Every single season around this time, we talk about Trae Young being the most disrespected athlete in the association. Once again, yesterday, the All-Star reserves were announced, and Trae Young was not a part of it. He has missed, over the last 6 seasons, he's averaged 26.6 points and 10 even assists a game. He has missed the All-Star game 3 times over the stretch. There are only 4 players that have averaged 20-plus points and 10-plus assists. Trae Young has done it twice and missed the All-Star game. Twice. He's the first person in the history of the NBA to average 20 points and 10 assists, and he's averaging 23 and 12 this year, leading the league in assists, and he doesn't make it
by a comfortable margin.
And I think the most frustrating aspect of this year's snub is everyone was like, Trae Young, we want you to do this. We want you to give more effort on the defensive end. We want you to be more of a playmaker rather than a scorer, and that'll relate to winning basketball. The Hawks, when all these voting was taking place, were squarely in the playoff thing. Trae Young did everything that all these critics asked for him, and he still doesn't make the playoffs. He's the best playmaker in the game. He is usage rate at an all-time low in terms of scoring. And he's given more effort, and the Hawks were winning games, even though no one expected them to win games after they traded DeJounte Murray. And he still gets snubbed. I mean, it's pretty insane.
I disagree with that. The biggest issue I take is the other guys that got in over him. Like LaMelo Ball has a fair gripe with being a snub as well. But like Darius Garland and Tyler Hero, like I'm trying not to disrespect these guys because they are all world players. They are class. Every team would be lucky to have guys like that. Respectfully, they are not on Trae Young's level. There are levels to this. Neither of them are asked to do what Trae Young does on any given night. Tyler Hero especially is not asked to do even a half of what Trae Young is asked to do. And that is where the efficiencies and the turnover argument on the flip side comes in, where they go, well, he leads the league in turnovers, or he's not the most efficient player. If you force Tyler Hero or Darius Garland to have the kind of usage rate and ask them to be the offensive engines of their teams, I guarantee you their numbers would be far less efficient and their turnover numbers would be far greater. That is the biggest problem I have, is you've got complete bums over them. I could argue, I could understand and swallow the pills. Like, this was just one of those years where it's like there were so many good guards in the East. It was really going to be hard for Trae Young. Those guys are bums compared to Trae Young.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're bums. I mean, Tyler.
I'm trying not to disrespect them, but they are not on Trae Young's level.
Yeah, I think the issue with the NBA today is you don't have enough spots. I mean, I think all of those guys should be all-stars, so it's tough. Like someone
like LaMelo Ball should be an all-star.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like all of them should be all-stars. Like Darius Garland and the Cavs are having a great year. I mean, hell, I watched Amari Carroll and Kyle Korver make all-star games, and Jeff Teague make all-star games when we won. Had that record-breaking first half and the entire Hawks starting 5. So
10 years ago today, they had the perfect month. I saw Brad Rowland.
That kind of stuff happens. So
it's coaches. It's the coaches. I mean, LaMelo Ball finished first in the fan voting and third in the player voting and didn't make it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And what's crazy is when these coaches voted, the Hawks were sitting there like 6th in the Eastern Conference. Yep. And it's not like they are today coming off a 7-game losing streak because, their team gets injured. Like they had a better standing than the Miami Heat, right? But the Miami Heat have the cachet. They have Pat Riley. Tyler Hero's having this year that he's never had before. He's never been this efficient in his career. So we got to reward him, right? And I don't think he doesn't deserve to be rewarded. But at the end of the day, like it always happens at the expense of one guy. And it's Trae Young.
I mean, Trae Young is on a Hall of Fame trajectory. And we've got people he hasn't made an Olympic team, which again, last year I could maybe understand that. But the year prior, when all of the Hall of Famer, all the gods of this generation didn't play, he should have been on that Olympic team. And there's just so many instances where Trae Young is being blackmailed. There's politics. Whatever the excuse is it's not good enough. It's absolutely pathetic that one of the greatest players. You know what's so funny to me? And I'm going back to the Luka Doncic trade where everybody likes to bag on the Hawks because we traded away Luka Doncic, who's undoubtedly a better player than Trae Young purely because of the defensive side of the ball. At least we didn't draft Marvin Bagley. Like there were 2 Hall of Famers in that class, and we got one of them. Yet everybody seems to act like we just, pissed our pants in that draft, and Trae Young is chopped liver. It's disgusting.
I mean, going beyond the all-star argument, I'm just sick and tired of the argument that Trae Young is not a winner. I mean, like it is absolutely absurd.
Done more than Joel Embiid.
It's absurd. The guys that get, but like he's done what are you talking about? He's done in the playoffs. He's never been in the Eastern Conference. Sorry, Darius Garland, they've never won a playoff series, guys. Guess what? The last time Darius Garland,
Tyrese Halliburton is hilarious.
The last time Darius Garland went up against Trae Young in the playoffs, you want to know what happened? It was in the playoff tournament a couple years ago, or maybe 3 years ago. Trae Young dropped 50 and 10. This guy performs better than every single guy you call a winner, a quote-unquote winner, just because the Hawks haven't had success, because the team sucks.
Yeah.
Every guy that you call a winner, he's taken the Hawks, who have never had as good of a team as the guys you're calling winners, to the Eastern Conference Finals. And when they match up one-on-one, he beats the hell out of them. He absolutely, so all this, he can't beat, what are you talking about? He goes out there and drops 40 and 15 on his damn head.
He's done more than any point guard in the Eastern Conference. Every single one of them. Maybe I'm forgetting one, but literally Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Halliburton, every single one of them. Trae Young has done more and has fewer accolades, and even more than that, just the tone in which reporters and these pundits talk about him is frankly disgusting.
I mean, you would have thought coming into the season that Tyrese Halliburton was significantly better than Trae Young.
And he had one of those seasons.
Yeah, he's had one good. I mean, we're talking about a guy over the last 6 seasons. I said it at the beginning. 26.6 points, 10 assists.
That's a Hall of Famer.
That's his average over 6.
That's a Hall of Famer.
No other point guard in the game is doing that. There's not a single one. Like, there's no point guard. I'm dead ass serious. There is not a single point guard that you could take from the Western Conference or the Eastern Conference outside of maybe like SGA, where I'm like, all right, it's not even close. Like, there is an argument to be made about every single point guard in Trae Young. He has done it for 6 seasons at a rate that no one can even compare to. Like, these guys have one-off seasons, and everyone wants to be like, oh, well, he's way better than Trae Young. This is almost a decade.
It is crazy. Tyrese Halliburton had one season, and we were ready to crown him the next coming of Jesus Christ himself.
The Cavs are having a great year, and congratulations to the Cavs, but you're right. I mean, Darius Garland's not going to sniff Trae Young's jockstrap. Like, put Trae Young on the Cavs.
Yes.
Put Trae Young on the Cavs.
They're not asking Darius Garland to do it.
Jared Allen and Evan Mobley would average 40. Like, they would be feasting at the basket. Like, and with those shooters, Max Strus and Donovan Mitchell, my God. It would be an unbelievable sight. Like, you do realize, you do look at the Hawks roster, and Jalen Johnson.
That's the best player he's ever, in terms of teammate. That's the best teammate he's ever had, including DeJounte Murray, including the Eastern Conference Final run. And then you just named 3 guys that are better than him.
He's the 4th bet. Jalen Johnson's the 3rd or 4th bet, like, option on the Cleveland Cavaliers that he's playing. Like, it's absurd to me, the amount of disrespect this man gets. I mean, he has done, and to be frank, man, people want to point to like his attitude. Bro, do you watch Trae?
That shifted too.
Like, this guy is humble. He takes responsibility.
He is completely changed.
He is up there saying, hey, we're good. He's a leader. He is embellished.
He's doing everything that everybody said, this box, he's checking them all.
That's what the most frustrating aspect of this one is. That's the most frustrating aspect, because he's doing everything every critic has said about him, even though whether they were fair or not. He has looked himself in the mirror and is doing exactly what you wanted him to, and you still snub him. You still snub him after this team, before all the injuries racked up, was doing really damn good, way further than anybody expected. Beating teams like
underperforming expectations.
Beating teams like the Heat in the play. What do you want from him? It doesn't make any sense, and it's a shame that he's getting treated this way.